Afternoon everyone, my name's Julie Fadden, I'm Chief Executive of SLH. I'm going to talk to you today about my story. I've been asked to talk about my story in housing, how I got into housing, what I've done, and why I do what I do and why we all do what we do. I started on the counter. I was 17, I started on the counter, wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Thought I wanted to be a journalist because I fancied Kevin Keegan and wanted to oh, I've got to hold it. Been told I've got to hold it. Is that right? Sorry about the technology. I'm not really good on this stuff. This is the only thing that I'm really not good on. But I started on the counter and worked in a lot of different jobs leading to what I'm doing now as Chief Executive. Best job I ever did was housing officer, and I loved being a housing officer. And then one day, I had no aspirations to be in management, and then one day I'm on the way into the office and I bump into a little old man. And the little old man was crying his heart out because he'd been treated terribly at the counter. And took him into the office. He was suicidal, he'd lost his wife, and he was just desperate, and he'd been treated terribly. So I sat him down, I sorted out his problem, gave him a cup of tea, calmed him down. And just before he got up to leave, he got hold of my hand and he said, "God bless you, girl, because if it wasn't for you, I'd be dead now." And that made me think that I couldn't impact on the behaviour of the people on the counter. Just organising the phone now, marvellous. I couldn't impact on the behaviour of the people on the counter because I wasn't in management. I was a housing officer, they were the same as me, and if they treated my customers terribly, there's nothing I could have done about it. So that's what drove me into management, and I did all my public admin qualifications leading up to being a housing officer, and then I got involved with the CIH and did my CIH professional qualification, and that opened up a whole world for me. I went to the meetings, I got involved with the branch committee, I did a range of different jobs on the committee, from newsletter editor to membership officer to education and training officer, vice chair, chair, got involved in the National Council, nationally elected to that, ended up as National Treasurer. So lots and lots of different things that have been CIH led, and that's been an inspiration to me because it's the colleagues that you meet, it's the experiences you share that will define how you get on in your career and pave the way for you, really. And it's the contacts that you in CIH Futures can make that can open up that whole world. I've done my MA in management, so when I then got into management and I was working as a director in a housing organisation, I then did my MA in management, and I got that done. And at the same time as doing that, by that time I'd had twins, so I had 2 3-year-olds to look after. I had an MA to pass. I was commuting 3 hours every day to work. So life isn't always easy. You know, you're not always going to get what you want staying in the same place. Sometimes you've got to put yourself out and you've got to go further afield to get what you want. Sometimes you come across really, really bad behaviour, bullying behaviour. I've been bullied 5 times in my career by really inadequate people, if I'm honest. But bullies tend to be people who are threatened by you, who are inadequate, who aren't capable of being a decent human being. And if you don't stand up to them or leave and avoid them, then they will damage your life. And it's as simple as that. So if you ever need support, there are people like me out there who've been through it. Please get in touch with people. Please seek help. Please seek that support. Please get a mentor. You know, it's really important if you've got somebody that you can turn to in times of those times of crisis. Some lessons that I've learned. Oops, Daisy. Oh, sorry about that. Moved the thing and the phone went. Sorry about that. Some lessons there that I've learned over the years. Have a 5-year plan. Make sure you've got a reasonable idea of where you want to get to and how you want to get there, and make the contacts that you need to make the best opportunity open to you. Always listen and learn from the best and the worst. So there are good people out there, but there's also real idiots out there, real egos that just like the sound of their own voice and not necessarily want to help and reach out to you. So anytime that you're confronted by people like that, there are decent people out there who actually want to help. I love to see people get on. I'm overjoyed when I see people get on because, you know, I'm happy with my lot. I'm happy with my family, my life, my job, the people I work with, my friends, you know, my faith, all those things I'm happy with. So why wouldn't I want other people to get on? But what I do tend to find is that when you're a success, that attracts jealousy, and that attracts people who don't want the best for you, and they'll try to cause you problems. And so, you know, you are the future. CIH Futures are the people that are going to be doing the jobs that I'm doing now. And this is a warning for you, because when you are in this position, you then are a target if you're successful. But whoever wants to be mediocre, I really don't care. If there are idiots out there that want to have a pop, they can have a pop. Because for me, you know, who wants to be mediocre? Who wants to run an organisation that's turgid? You want people in your organisation that want to be there, that want to do fantastic things to help people who are vulnerable. And that's what we're all there for, to leave this world better than when we found it. So for me, you know, bring it on. If people have got an issue, let them bring it on. Always be true to yourself. Don't try and live a lie. Don't try and live someone else's life. Don't try and be something that you're not. Really important that you believe in yourself, have that self-belief, find what you need to get where you need to be, have that 5-year plan, and don't be put off by people who are negative. If you're confronted by negativity, find a way around it. If it's negative in your organisation, if you're working for someone who you think, do you know, I could do your job better than you, do it. And if they're not moving on, you might need to find that job somewhere else. You might need to go to a different organisation that's right for you, that's got the right positivity. You know, make it happen. You've got one life, and you've got to make the most of the life that you've got. Always do what makes you happy, and that's the one life thing is really important for me. Do what makes you happy. Jose Mourinho was asked, you know, what makes you happy? Well, you know, life makes you happy. It's about the people you're with, the people you spend time with, the people you work with, the organisation you're with. Make sure that it's one that you feel echoes your values, that you can absolutely live your life true in that organisation. What's the other thing on it? The bullying thing I've mentioned. It's really important. And when you do get to be a chief executive, one thing that you really, really do need to understand is that it's not about you. It's not about the person at the top. I am only as good as the people I've got around me. And it's like a football manager with a football team. You need the right people around you to deliver the results. It's my job to make sure those people are in place, and it's also my job to keep them here. It's also my job to get rid of the people that are holding us back. And those are really difficult decisions, and sometimes you have to make them for the good of the organisation and the good of the tenants that we serve. At the end of the day, we're here for the tenants, we're not here for ourselves. We're here to make sure those lives are enriched by our involvement. If we choose to just think of ourselves, then that's just a sad existence, and I don't want to leave this world in that way. I don't want that to be my legacy, that all I've done is think of myself. That's just not me. So for me, you've got to get the right people around you. You've got to treat those people right. You know, we're the best company to work for because we treat people properly. And, you know, we don't bully people. Bullies have a very short life here. They are shown the door on the same day that I become aware there's an issue. So there is no issue here in that regard, because we look after people and we treat people properly. When you do get to be a director or a chief executive, leave the ego at home. Honest to God, it has no place in providing public services for those that we serve. Our people are vulnerable, our people need us. I'm going out to see a tenant today. I like to keep it real. I like to be amongst the tenants, because that keeps me focused on the reason that we're doing it. All the time spent in the office for me and spent in turgid meetings is really not what I want to do my job doing. I want to be out there talking to tenants, looking at what they need and planning for the future to make sure those needs are delivered. Internal politics in the workplace, keep those out. They have no place. If you come to work with your own agenda, you need to sort that out, because that is taking away the time and the money we've got to spend on our people. Always keep that focus on the customer. Always remember how you got there. Never lose sight of your journey. Never lose sight of the fact that you started where they are. So, you know, please don't become too big for your boots. Life is just too short for that. And it's in your hands. You're the future. So let's hear some of those questions that we've got there. Where's the questions? Let me just scroll back down and see what questions we've got. We've got loads of people that have joined. Thanks to lovely comments. Fabulous. Evie, lovely Evie, has just said I'm her favourite Scouser. God love you. Honest to God, it's lovely. Let's see what questions we've got. let me just see. So far, I've just got questions. I think, actually, there were a couple of things that I was asked to cover that you might want me to cover. Let me see where that would be. I'm terrified to move anything because it's all going to collapse. One of the questions, I think, was around what young people should be thinking about moving into the future, and how, what lessons they can learn and how they can get the best from the organisation that they're in. For me, it is about finding a mentor. It is about making sure that you've got the right circumstances around you. So make sure you're getting the right training. Make sure, if you're not CH qualified, that you get on that trajectory, that you do get qualified, and you do have that open to yourself, and you get the benefits of being involved in your local regional board or national business unit, wherever that you are based in the country. Make sure that you get the advantage of a mentor, and make sure you get that guidance and that support. And make sure that you have that 5-year plan, and that you are able to plot where you're going across that 5-year plan, and enjoy the journey. It's really important. There are going to be really, really hard times. My kids, are going through difficulties trying to get jobs and all that kind of stuff. They've done the degrees, trying to get a job. It's really, really difficult. And it's hard to get that full-time permanent placement or job. It's really, really difficult. But you know what? You will have hard times. I've had hard times. It's how you get through it. So the journey is, it's something to strive for. We're all challenged every single day. There's days in my life where I think, oh my God, even though I'm doing the job I love, life is hard. The last 17 months has been hard. You lose your parents. There are real challenges that happen when you lose people you love. All of those things have an impact on your life, but it's part of life's rich tapestry. It's part of the journey. So you have to try and find a way to enjoy the journey, manage the stress levels, look after your health, look after those that you love, look after the people that you work with, because they will be your support moving forward. Someone said here, Ad Clarkey has just said, I thought you were pants on the tech. I am. I love the iPhone. The new one's on order. I love it, honest to God. I love all the technology. But I'm no good at actually fiddling with it and all that kind of stuff. I'm great on the apps, great on the games, all of that stuff. I'm just no good at managing all this kind of carry on. What's the best piece of advice for someone just starting out? Have the plan. Look after yourself. And stop blaming yourself. Sometimes life is just too short to be blaming yourself. Obviously, be self-aware. Obviously, be true to yourself and have that self-belief, but be real. Think about where you want to get to, how you're going to get there. And if something goes wrong, have a bit of self-analysis and think, what could I have done differently? What can I learn from this situation? But also think, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is death, how important is it? Is it really that important? And is it going to be as important in 6 months' time? So don't dwell on things, learn from them, and help that build your future. Who's my biggest role model? Oh, goodness me. Well, I like people like Richard Branson. I like people like Alan Sugar, because they just get things done. They don't mess around. They just get things done. But my biggest role model in life was Kevin Keegan, because he is my hero. What can I say? I mean, I could show you around the office. In fact, I'll just show you just around the office. It is like a bit of a Kevin Keegan and Donny Osmond shrine. So you can see there's all kinds going on over here, So Kevin Keegan is a particular role model. What else have we got? My view on Housing First. Right, well, I'd never even heard of Housing First at all until I took on the presidency and I chose crisis as my presidential appeal. And then Michelle Langan, just tweeted me one day, and tweeted Twitter, and I just happened to pick up the tweet, and she's asking for people to go out and volunteer to feed the homeless on a Monday night in Liverpool. And I just took it on board and went out, and that night just decided, well, why are we just feeding them? Why don't I just give them a flat? Let's just take a chance. Let's not fill in the forms and go through all the checks. Let's just take a chance. The human beings, am I going to walk past them on the other side, or am I going to give them a home? And we've done that now with over 20 people, and those people are sustained in the homes. We've had a few failures along the way. We've had people who just weren't ready, who still wanted to beg from the properties, and we just can't allow that. But, you know, we furnished properties, we gave them a furnished home with food, with clothes, and with the support, and it's worked. So I then found out that's called Housing First. I didn't know what it was. I was just acting on my own volition because, you know, as the Chief Executive of Housing Association, I've got properties that I can offer out to people in need. So why wouldn't you? So for me, that was a simple thing. Any other questions I've missed here? Yeah, I am honest. Someone said here, Stephanie has said, you know, I'm honest. Well, that's the only way to be. Another piece of advice for you: just be true to yourself. Always be honest. Say it how it is. Don't fluff it up, because it's not about fluffing it up. Let's see. Any other questions? What was my biggest learning as CH president? Well, it was just the big thing. Was meeting so many members. I mean, that was just so fantastic, getting out all over the world, all over the country, meeting so many fantastic members. The people in China were just inspirational. I mean, the pace of change was just inspirational. I mean, the city of Shenzhen, as an example, 10 years ago was a paddy field with a hut on it, and now it's a city bigger than London, and it's just amazing. So for me, you know, there are people out there doing a fantastic job. You know, the guy running the Shanghai Tower is a guy called Sonny, who is just so sunny. I mean, his whole demeanour is fantastic. And he's running the Shanghai Tower. And he's a CIH member. And CIH over there is hailed as one of the biggest accolades to have in your career. So how amazing is that? You know, we've got that on our doorstep. Do we really fully appreciate how brilliant it is? And the network that we have, which is the biggest housing network of housing professionals in the world. So why wouldn't you be part of it? So it's fantastic. So my biggest learning was how amazing. I mean, if I didn't know how amazing the people were, I think, to be fair, the last 17 months has confirmed it. Going out there, meeting people, hugging. I love hugging everyone. And it's just been fantastic. Let's have a look. One of the best stories you ever shared with me was when you got out and picked up a homeless guy and started him on a journey to being rehoused. How do you encourage your teams to be as proactive? Well, that's Evie, our lovely Evie. And you know what? When I first did it, the teams were a bit scared. They thought I'd kind of lost my marbles a bit, you know, and they kept kind of said, what about the checks? And as a Christian, I said, you know, well, did Jesus check the beggar before he washed his feet and dried them with his hair? No, I don't think he did. So let's not do any checks. Let's just take it on trust and see how we go. You know, let's have an experiment and let's just see how it goes. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is a couple of flats will get messed up. So won't be the first time, won't be the last. So let's just give it a go. And so for me, it's empowering my teams, and empowerment isn't about dumping. Sometimes when you talk about empowerment, we have to be really careful that we're not just dumping, you know, decisions onto people who aren't equipped to deal with it. Empowering is about backing people, and it's almost like that ask for forgiveness, not permission. You know, it's about making sure the ability for them to decide and act is as open to them as it is to me. So some of the people in our organisation have now got involved on the patrols on a Monday night. One of our lovely people, Justin, started giving out mobile phones that SLH bought, and the SLH phones were loaded up with credit and our phone numbers to keep them in touch with us, because just giving out money and expecting them to go and find a phone box isn't really what it's about. So giving out a cheap mobile, you know, it's buttons. So, you know, for me, that encouragement is about, well, if I can do it, you can do it. I'm a chief exec, but I'm just doing a different job. We're all employed by SLH. We're all serving our tenants. We're all on the same page. So just do what I do. You know, what's the worst that can happen? You're never going to lose us millions of quid. So it's not a big problem. Cats or dogs? Ad Clarkey, cats or dogs? Well, I like both, to be honest. We used to have 2 cats, which were wild cats, born in my mum's garage, and they used to kind of run up the walls and do the wall of death, and God love them, they both died of feline leukemia. So that was heartbreaking. But now we've got Pudsey. We've got this little dog who's just amazing. He's just like took off. He's transformed our lives over the last 4.5 years. So he's a little Shih Tzu. He's great, and he's fab. So no, what can I say? You know, it's about enriching your life. On a scale of asleep to on the ceiling, how happy were you with the LHA? Oh my God! Well, the LHA announcement, I couldn't believe Theresa May was doing something nice. Honest to gosh, like Cruella de Vil, I couldn't believe that we were actually going to get anything out of this government. We wait to see the detail. I mean, I don't want to get too excited before I see the detail. I want the bed tax to go. I mean, I'm still waiting for the bed tax to be abolished. I mean, what a stupid bloody policy that was. Sorry for swearing, but, you know, unbelievable. Don't get me started. So the bed tax needs to go. And direct payments to tenants needs to go. I mean, we want properties built. We want development, and yet housing associations are holding on to millions of pounds in their bank accounts just in case they're going to be hit with debt because of direct payments. So she can free all that up straight away by, you know, not having the direct payments, paying us direct and not paying to the tenants. And if they paid the housing associations and the landlords direct and continue to do that, we could free up millions in our business plans to build new homes for those that need them. So that's the next thing that's needed. Get rid of the bed tax and free up all the millions that are held up waiting for the debt that might happen with universal credit. What else is there? I can't read this name, but it's Wolfering. Wolfering. It's all about real people, so work with real solutions. Absolutely. It is about solutions. So when you've got a problem and you're faced with a problem, think about, what can I do? What can I personally do to change what we're doing and how we're doing it? How hard can it be? You know, we're not putting people on the moon here. We're letting property. We're renting it. We're sorting out nuisances. We're repairing it. It's not difficult stuff. So it's in our hands. You know, we live in homes ourselves. What would we want? People go, oh, we don't know what the tenant wants. Well, ask them. You know, ask them what they want. It's not rocket science, this. It's not difficult stuff. It's simply that we need to speak to our people, listen. It's really important to listen to our people. Ask them what they want and listen. We do Walkabout Wednesday. Anybody is welcome to come and join us any first Wednesday of the month. We have fun. We get out with our neighbourhoods. We speak to our tenants. It's amazing. So anybody that wants to come to SLH and get a little bit of a flavour of the madness that is organisation, feel free. Just give us a ring. Just drop us an email. Let me know what you want, and not a problem at all. And you'll come and join us. We've got Housing 24, I think, out next week. So that's what we do. What else is there? Julie, is scone or scone? Scone, is that scone or scone? It's always going to be a scone, isn't it? It's never going to be a scone. You know, and I'm not really fussed whether it's the jam on or the cream on. You know, I normally put the jam on first and the cream on the top if it's a posh scone. If it's just a buttered scone, that's just as good for me. You know what I mean? But I've not been able to have many of them because of this diet I've been on for a turgid amount of months. What else have we got here? Is there anything in your career you regret that you didn't do? Goodness me, is there anything in my career I regret that I didn't do? Probably that I didn't move on sooner. Probably that I stayed too long in Liverpool. I stayed there for 12 years, and really speaking, I should have been more mobile when I was younger, and I should have seen more of the country and worked in more places before I then was settled in Liverpool and had my family. And so yeah, if it was me, I'd be more mobile. I'd look for opportunities all over the place. You know, exploit the fact that you're young, that you're mobile, and then that broadens your network. But you know what, life's too short to have regrets. You know, with a husband I love, family I love, job I love, what's to regret? You know, you will have bad stuff happen to you. You can't dwell on it. You know, you will be confronted with idiots. You will be working with idiots at some point who want to have a pop at you. You know, bring it on. You know, it's only because they can't do it themselves. What else is there? Oh, dear me. Sorry about the technology. I really am useless at this. Every time I touch the thing, it kind of disappears. Anything else? Any other questions that you've got for me? I'm scrolling up. Biggest challenge for housing in the next year? Well, it's always going to be doing better with less. It's always going to be about value for money. It's always about spending the pound wisely. You know, we've got a diminished resource. Even though the rent deal has been done, we've lost 16% in real terms on our rents. So for my organisation, that's like 90 million in the business plan that we could have spent on homes. So the challenge is always going to be about how you're spending your money, what you're doing to make it worthwhile. More questions. I'm supposed to make a plug for CH Futures, which for me, you are the future. You know, it's like garlic bread. You know, you are the future. You are absolutely what we want. You're going to be in my chair. You know, bring it on. Come here, see us, see how it's done. And I want you to smash the mould that's chief execs in housing associations and local authorities. Do you know what? They've got to liven up. They've got to be less boring. They've got to make it happen for people. They've got to care about the tenant more than themselves. It's not about the salary. It is about enjoying what you do and making a difference to people's lives. The speaker for next week. Do I know who the speaker is for next week? I'm not sure. I've been told. Sorry. I've been told to make a plug for the speaker for next week, but I'm not sure I know who that is. And we've got time for one more question. Let me have a look. Have I got any more questions here? Is there anything on here? The one thing I would share with you is have a hobby. You know, have a hobby. Do something that relaxes you when you go home overnight. So it might be sporty stuff. I mean, clearly the look at me, I'm never going to be a sports queen, am I? I'm never going to be running a marathon. I can't run a bath. So, you know, for me, I like me knitting. I'm forever knitting jumpers for the team and everything. You know, whether they want one or not, they get a jumper. So whether it's an Aaron jumper for our lovely Claire, or it's a big woolly jumper for Wayne, who used to be my deputy, who's now at Weaver Vale. You know, I'm always doing stuff like that all the time, you know, whether it's knitting for people's kids or anything else. So have a hobby that makes you feel happy and relaxed and you can switch off. And, you know, the other thing that's nice is Friday night, getting home, bottle of wine, share a bottle of wine, never have a whole bottle now. And it's funny, isn't it? As you get older, you need less wine. When you're your age, you'll be drinking a whole bottle to yourself or maybe 2 bottles. But when you're my age, actually a couple of glasses does it for me on a Friday night. So whatever you do, whatever your choice of poison, whatever your choice of joy, over the weekend, just have a fantastic time. Go and celebrate being alive. Go and celebrate what you do every day to make people's lives complete. And make it happen. Life is just too short to do anything else. Have we got any other questions? Let me have a look. Julie, if you could watch anyone from housing on the Human Library, who would it be? Oh, well, Kevin Keegan, clearly. But if it's got to be a housing person, who would it be as a housing person? Oh, goodness me. It's a hard one. I have to say it's a hard one. But... you know, I can't say there's anybody I'm desperate to see in housing. I think Terry's pretty awesome. I think Terry Alafat is fantastic. I think she's the best leader we've ever had in the CIH, and we're really, really lucky to have somebody who's got that kind of housing knowledge and housing brain and good heart leading this organisation. So for me, it might be Terry, actually, because I think she's fab. And Kevin Keegan, Evie, gorgeous girl. You know, Kevin Keegan in the new year, I would love it, love it, love it. If you got Kevin Keegan on here in the new year, I'd be made up, honestly. He already thinks I'm a bit of a stalker, because everywhere he turns up, I'm there getting his autograph. How sad is that, you know, at 56? But you know what? Such is life. You always got to have your joys, haven't you? And I like Kevin Keegan and take that as well. It's not just about Kevin. What's the best career advice you were given? Well, actually, it was a guy called Peter Gallagher, who was one of my managers at Knowsley, and he said, be true to yourself. And that was the best advice anybody ever gave me. And it's true. You've just got to be yourself and tell the truth, honest to God. You never get... The big lesson you'll learn in life is if anybody lies to you, you will never get to the bottom of those people. So if you've got lies in your midst, they're worse than a thief. You need to get rid of them out your life. So tell the truth. Honesty is all for me. If people start telling me lies, then it's game over. You know, it's really important that you work with people you trust, and that you're able to help and support those people to be the best that they can be. But it's about being honest and having the difficult conversations. Sometimes people need to be told if they're too miserable and not doing what they should be doing, because then they'll get better. So you need to be honest, you need to be having those difficult conversations, but being true to yourself and helping those around you is what it's all about. And yeah, Izzy Howard, always good to look outside the sector. I'm inspired by people outside the sector. I'm inspired by, you know, businessmen like, you know, Richard Branson, who started with nothing. You know, clearly he come from a good home. You know, clearly he came from a middle-class background. He wasn't, you know, on the bones of his backside. So he did have, you know, some background to him. But he, you know, started just opening, selling a few records, and look where he is now. So there's hope for us all. And I've been told I've got to wrap it up now. Clearly, I've said enough. Is there anything else you want? You know, I think you need to tell me now. I've been really excited. Can I just thank you for this? Because I've been really excited doing this. Because I've never done anything like this before. And you can see how hopeless I am with the technology. But just overjoyed that I'm able to reach out to you on a Friday afternoon, weekend ahead of us, and lovely people in CIH Futures who are going to do it better than I'm doing it. So anybody want to come to SLH, you know where we are. Come and see us. Come on walkabout. Have a pie. Enjoy life. Have a brilliant weekend and make it happen in our sector, because our future is with you. Thanks very much. Cheers.